Warren Publishing's EERIE, number 86, from September of 1977, the All Corben Super Special. Okay, folks, today we are going to look at one of my favorite issues of EERIE magazine. This is EERIE number 86 from September of 1977. This is, of course, the All Corben Super Specials that they put out. And this issue is just fantastic. From the incredible cover, as you can see here. Unfortunately, this is the only color page of Corben in this issue, but the black and white in here is still fantastic with some of the best stories. All Corben Super Special, EERIE number 86, Giant Collector's Classic, 8 electrifying stories. Right off the bat, we're treated to some great ads for the Warren posters. As we can see, we have Uncle Creepy, Vampirella, Cousin EERIE, and of course there is this fantastic Frazetta poster, Werewolf versus the Vampire from Creepy number 7. Writers in this issue, Richard Corben, Rich Margopoulos, Doug Moench, Greg Potter, Jim Stenstrom. Artist this issue, Richard Corben. And of course, our editor-in-chief and publisher, James Warren. Now, I'm going to mention at this time that the book, James Warren, Empire of Monsters, the man behind Creepy, Vampirella, and Famous Monsters, has just been released on paperback as of January 10th. It is hot, off the presses, brand spanking new. See link in the description for a great sale price on this indispensable volume. Unprovoked Attack on a Hilton Hotel. Great name for a freaking story. And of course it's black and white. All of these are black and white. Here we go with Rich Margopoulos adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe's The Oval Portrait, art by Richard Corben. Just fantastic. Once again, love the style here. Check that out. I mean, he goes from what I would assume to be airbrush images, you know, to fantastic zipatone manipulation. The only way I can describe it, this guy, you know, Corben experimented with all kinds of styles. Adverts for The Spirit, Will Eisner's The Spirit. You may have had a few of these issues. I know I had a couple of them. It's an adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe's Shadow. Once again, the art is stellar, needless to say. I love this one-pager. I'm going to bring this in. There. Pinball Wizard. It's another great one here. God. Love this. Change into something comfortable. A Halloween Tale from Richard Corben and Doug Moench. Corben's action is great. The little kid thinks that the werewolf is some dude in costume. No. And of course, so the werewolf is prowling around, finds another party, and he goes inside and attacks one of the partygoers, but oops, partygoer just throws him across the kitchen there, and then they would begin to remove their costumes and masks. This is so great. And he's like, oh my God, what the hell's going on? And of course, they have fun feasting on his ass. And here we go with one of my favorite all-time EERIE stories, The Slipped Mickey Click Flip. Now this was written by Doug Moench with art, of course, by Richard Corben. It is a funny story. It's bizarre. Definitely like a trippy tale of terror. It starts off with Uncle Creepy, and he is protesting, of all things. He says, as all you loyal readers well know, I'm anything but a witch, but just the same, I've been burned. Cousin EERIE's hosted this magazine for more issues than a vampire has teeth. And now the idiot writer of this idiot story has usurped, taken away from him his honored and long-held position, only to give it to some new idiot host. So begins the slipped Mickey click flip. And here is the new host, right here, Mr. DeMent, as he introduces himself. And wow, it's just like a hallucinatory horror story. I think that's kind of, the way to really look at it. It's nuts, folks. It is totally nuts. He's introducing himself, and he's got his, sidekick Hugo, who he loves to torment and everything. And then we go into the story where it's like the psychologist, and he's talking to these people who are apparently insane, and they're talking about this. So Dr. Nugent is smoking a pipe, and he starts seeing words that the pipe is like writing in air. Strangely enough, he's like, what the hell is going on? So later that day, he's driving home, and the road gets all crazy, as you can see here. He's running away. He runs away from his car, which is overheating. There's butterflies, which turn into these giant man-eating insects. And of course, they attack him. They rip his eye out. And he barely makes it home. He's like, Betty, oh my God, help me, Betty. Betty, my eye, butterflies ripped out my eye. And Betty's like, Howard, what is it? The blood, what happened? And suddenly she's evil looking with her guts and maggots spilling out there. And he's like, oh my God, no. And Betty's like, come to me, Howard. Come and let me hug you. It's just stuff pouring out of her guts. So then, poor Howard, he escapes and he runs into a field. But here comes the crazy train. And the crazy train proceeds to run over his head. So then we're back at the house, and Betty wondering what the hell's going on with Howard. Her interests are diverted to the television, folks. The TV is key here. And she's like, I wonder what's on the tube. I have to replace that screen one of these days. It's getting a little worn. The TV, it looks like it has teeth. She's like looking at it, and of course suddenly the TV is very much alive with real teeth and just chomps on her. And enter the family dog, who sees his master right there, dead, without a head. So the dog runs out. His dead master there is now just bones, right? Of course, so what does the dog do? Snap off one of his bones and cheerfully run across the field to a place where he can bury it. The bone is quite alive, too. And it proceeds to grab the dog, pull him inside the hole, and bury him. Mr. DeMent is back, and he's talking. Hey, look, don't flip this page if you know what's good for you. Flip to the next page. And it's Mr. DeMent holding the innards of a television set. Click, click. The slipped Mickey click flip. I knew you wouldn't be able to resist. And all these demented creatures behind him. And Uncle Creepy, who is not looking like a happy camper at the end here. Whew, glad that's over with. I told you the guy was weird, rabid readers. Say, all of a sudden you readers are starting to look different. Like DeMent. The end. Here's Freed Helm the Magnificent. Once again, great Corben art. Love it, he's back to more of a kind of what he did in his underground days with the traditional drawing style. Expressions on faces are just fantastic. And I love the devil, demon, frozen beauty. Now, this one is art and story by Richard Corben, and I believe this is older. And I think they used it for this, but he did this years before. And this may have been in an underground comic, but it's certainly, this kind of reminds me of like Tales from the Plague. Fantastic ads of just all kinds of stuff, albums, books. Jigsaw puzzles, God. Monster makeup kit, oh yes. There it is. Those kits, you can still find them on eBay, believe it or not. Now these were kind of an offshoot from the Monster Makeup Handbook, which I will be doing a video on soon. That is the Dick Smith Monster Makeup Handbook, published by Warren. We were making Super 8 films way back in the day. That magazine came in mighty handy, much like, of course, issues of Don Dohler's Cinemagic. Here's some, a whole bunch of posters. Remember that King Kong poster? These monster briefs, that is pretty funny. Super 8 films, naturally. The back issues. Going back to EERIE number 2, Super 8 films, regular 8 films, so forth that they offered, Star Trek hobby kits, the fabulous 6-foot-tall Vampirella poster, oh yes. And there's the Captain Company order form. So after you've looked at all that, kids, how many hundreds are you going to be spending? What's the final figure down here? God. And of course the previews of the upcoming Creepy, EERIE, and Vampirella. More Corben. And the Vampirella special. Oh yes, it's 80 pages of Vampy in color. This was just something that I had to share with you guys because I recently rediscovered this. And I used it for a thumbnail on another video. It was another part of this image here because it's just spectacular. You can find it on eBay, I would say, depending on the condition, between 10 and 30 bucks. Any of the all Corben issues are fantastic, and if you can find color Corben in EERIE, or Creepy for that matter, get them. If you want all color Corben, check out Comics International. That was another Warren publication where they reprinted a ton of the Corben stories from EERIE and Creepy. In any case, that ends this video, EERIE number 86, the All Corben Super Special. I hope you enjoyed it.